my first video with YouTube or anyone, aside from TV. I used to be a TV show host on public access TV in Rhode Island. The show was called Justice. Now, I'm over here with all of you. Here in Rhode Island, we have many problems. We're known as the #1 corrupt state, and I firmly agree with that. #1 corrupt judge, Frank Cenerini, which we will bring forward to you tonight. #1 corrupt town, Hopkinton, Rhode Island, and #1 chief of police, John Scunzio. We'll be doing this in sequels. And please excuse me if I'm having a little hard time talking, but something happened to my front tooth, and I'll discuss that with you later. Right now, I only have 9 minutes to bring forward Judge Frank Cenerini. He's 63 years old, he's been on the bench a while, and he is not a nice man. He violates his canon of ethics, he disgraces his robes, and he's just brutal. He violates First Amendment, civil rights, you name it, and he does it. He's a bully. He's just reprehensible. He's everything that a judge should not be. And when they get to that point, one must go to the judiciary, to the Supreme Court, to the Department of Justice. They must go anywhere to remove a bad judge, because he'll hurt you, me, and everybody else. And he has. I was protesting him recently regarding a civil matter. And in the civil matter, he would never let me speak. I'm a witness. And the other parties would say things that were not true, and he'd levy me. And he once actually said to them, you can decide her fate and come back to me as to what we should do with her. Me. Understand, I was a victim in this case as well, and a witness. After he did that day, I went out and got posters, put them outside, sat there for an hour. #1 corrupt courthouse, #1 corrupt judge, Frank Cenerini. I had no problem. The second time, the Capitol cops came after me, threatening to arrest me and everybody else, and telling me I couldn't speak badly about the courthouse, even though Judge DE.Robert, who's over the courthouse, knew I was there. I had given him 3 courtesy calls, and he said, yes, freedom of speech and it's public property. But that's not how that went that day. The Capitol cop chased me off the property and other people, threatening to arrest all of us or them if they even spoke to me. I ended up down on Route 1 in the pouring rain. I was soaking wet. I'm 59 years old. I'm disabled, and I had my walker. Later on, I tried to go back to the courthouse after handing out 96 flyers. Some lovely soul gave me his umbrella. When I got to the courthouse, they wouldn't let me use my walker going through the metal detector. That's a violation of ADA law. I ended up in the ER with an EKG and a CAT scan. They were looking for a stroke or a heart attack. Later the next week, I went in again, and I was protesting Judge Cenerini again, and I went inside to pick up audio tapes of the hearings so I could download them to you, so you could hear those also. And I went into his courtroom and I sat down. During break, he wasn't there. He came back in, and he began yelling at me. Now I have the audio tape of that terrible day, and you're going to hear a judge in the worst light. Any judge out there listening to this who's good is going to say, oh no, he just disgraced all judges. He's the poster boy for bad judges. He accused me of taking the flyer, the protest flyer, and filing it with the clerk in her office, which I did not do. I gave one to the clerk outside personally when she walked out, just like everyone else. Later on, he puts me in jail. He's mad at me. He's getting even with me. He found out that the flyer, in fact, wasn't filed in the clerk's office. He made a terrible mistake. He listened to somebody else. He should have checked his sources. But he won at my neck. And at my age and in my condition, he sent me to jail. You listen to this now. Part of it will be the hearing that's just finishing.
Start the trial, and the attorneys have requested 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Sheldon, please come forward. May be seated.
Is this recorded?
Yes, it is. Ms. Sheldon, please be advised that you have filed a document with the clerk's office today. that addressed the case regarding Mr. Manfredi. I want to advise you that since you filed this document with the clerk's office...
I didn't.
Excuse me, you handed it to the clerk. That's what I am told.
Oh, a copy for herself only.
Ma'am, you filed the document with the clerk.
No,
I am advising you.
But I did not.
Quiet! I am advising you, ma'am, that this may well be contemptuous behavior. And I am suggesting that you accept the referral to the public defender.
Well, I did not give her a copy.
Can you have the clerk come in? I wish to advise you that by filing this document, there is a potential that you could be held in contempt and be sentenced to a penalty in accordance with law. I'm suggesting that you consider a referral to the public defender if you cannot afford an attorney.
You're abusing your rights because I never did it.
Madam Clerk.
Oh, outside.
Excuse me. Was this document filed with the clerk's office or outside the courthouse?
Outside the courthouse.
Outside the courthouse. It was my understanding that it was in the courthouse. Thank you.
I want a copy of that recording.
Put your request to the clerk, ma'am.
You're out of order. You're out of order.
Ma'am, come forward.
This is retaliatory behavior on your part, and Judge Williams is aware of everything going on. I have his permission to be here. Any problems are reported to him and the Department of Justice. There you go.
Thank you.
You're on that form.
I find you in contempt.
Go ahead.
And I fine you $500.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
You're abusing your rights. That flyer is about you and about your violating my rights constantly, and here you do it again. You bring this woman in here making an allegation that wasn't true and proven not true.
Ma'am, let me just say this.
You don't stop.
Ma'am, let me say this. I find you $500. Make arrangements. Take her out to the clerk's office. Give her an bill and a payday.
They are.
Ma'am, I have made my rule. Thank you.
Shame on you.
Ma'am, excuse me. 24 hours contempt. 1 day ACI.
You have no clue what you're doing.
1 day ACI.
You have no clue what you're doing.
Wait right there.
There you go.